Let me tell you a story. The story of the chocolate factory. You'll get used to it. There once were 24 factory workers working in a chocolate factory. One day the company expanded and hired 10 new employees. The new employees were amazed at what they saw and smelled. Chocolate running down long conveyor belts with individuals standing on each side, separating the various chocolates as they came down the line. Given a tour of the factory floor, the machinery of it all amazed them. The precision of the cutters and the molds, the huge melting vats and furnaces to heat the chocolate excited them. They saw this place as a place of miracles. Who would have ever guessed that a simple box of chocolates would require such unbelievable advanced equipment? As they walked, they shared their excitement with the workers who'd been there for years and years, and to their disappointment were met with rolled eyes and laughter. Their only reply was, "You'll get used to it." Later on, after the newly hired had finished their tour and orientation, they rushed home to share with family and friends of their great new job. Yet once again, they met with rolled eyes and snickers saying, "Big deal, it's just another job, a chocolate factory. You'll get used to it. You're making too much ado about nothing. Just show us the money, that's all that matters, the money." As if this wasn't bad enough, later that night they heard bad news on the news of this great company that gave them second thoughts, thinking, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe it wasn't as grand as I thought. 2 of the 10 believed the bad news and never returned to take the job. But 8 still remembered the wonderful aroma, the fascinating machinery, and all of its precision. Shaking off the opinions of others and the bad news, they decided to give it more time, ate their supper, and went to sleep on it. The next day, excited, they clocked in at the great job, anticipating the hands-on experience they were sure they would get. Once again, they were met with disappointment. They were handed a broom and a dustpan and told to sweep the floors. Sweep the floors? They had hoped to take part in the handling of the chocolates, or packaging, anything, but not just sweep the floors. The question was met with, "You aren't ready yet." They thought to themselves, "We aren't ready yet? How do one get ready without handling that which would assist them in getting ready? What part does sweeping floor have to do with chocolate and its production?" They, the remaining 8, spent the rest of the day doing as they were told. Yet every chance they got, paused and observed the other workers busy with their tasks. Imagined how one day they would be doing the same, and might even sneak a few chocolates off the line as they passed by, of course without getting caught. Second day on the job, the same assignment was given them, sweep the floors. This continued the rest of the week. The weekend came and passed, and Monday came again, and they thought, surely today we'll get hands-on experience. But they were handed brooms and dustpans. 2 more of the remaining 8 individuals threw their brooms and dustpans to the floor in anger and screamed, "We weren't hired to sweep floors," and walked off the job. Now, the remaining 6 of the new hires reluctantly began to sweep, looking over their shoulders at these 2 others walking out the door, feeling sad not only for them, but for themselves, thinking, maybe we should leave as well. But the aroma of the chocolate and the clank, clank, clank of the cutters and passing chocolates and still their hope of maybe tomorrow. The weeks and months passed, and one by one, 5 of the remaining 6 of the new yards threw their broom and dustpans down, leaving. Thus we end up with one remaining newly hired. We will call him Mickey. He is called into the main office by the assistant manager. He walks in the waiting room, setting his broom dustpan down next to his chair, and as he waits in the waiting room to be called to the office, he thinks, I'll get my notice. Maybe they didn't really need us after all. Those who left were smart to leave on their own choice. When they did, what value is there in just sweeping the floor? Anybody can sweep a floor. The assistant manager, moments later, called him to the office, closes the door, telling him to have a seat in front of his desk. The assistant manager sits for a few moments with his fingers on his chin looking at Mickey, then asks him a single question. Are you used to it yet? Mickey's puzzled, not really knowing how to reply. He thinks to himself, if I say the same as the others, that I wasn't hired to sweep the floors, I get pointed at the door and told to leave as the others. If I say I was used to it, I'd be a floor sweeper for the rest of my life if I stayed on this job. Sitting there once again, with the aroma of the chocolate seeping into the room, and the faint clank, 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 clank of the cutters from off the factory floor, filling the silence of the room, and his moment of decision in his mind. A few more moments passed, and he stood up and said to the assistant manager, I believe I am used to it. I can't leave this aroma and the rhythmic sounds of precision. I've gotten used to it. I guess I want to stay. The manager gets up out of his chair, walks into the door, and introduces him to a newly hired sitting in the office waiting room. He then takes Mickey's broom and dustpan and hands it to the newly hired, then says to him, I want you to meet our new manager of the factory, Mickey. Then looks at Mickey, he says, Sir, what have you got to say to this newly hired? He looks at him and says, You'll get used to him. The moral of the story, enjoy the surroundings and get used to it. Your reward is your endurance. And one more thing. The bad news that the others had heard in the story, with 2 never even reporting to the job, was that the plant manager had died and the company wasn't sure the company could ever replace him. What is the spiritual truth to this bit of bad news in the story? Jesus had died. And many wondered if he could ever be replaced. Why would they think this? What made him appear as irreplaceable? His endurance. So, endure, son of God. Keep sweeping the floor, Mickey. One day you will be glorified. Got it. Go read Philippians chapter 2. God bless you.